everyone. We are back. The Grunge Bible Podcast is back in the saddle. This is episode number 263, coming to you on Monday, April 6th, 2026. My name is Chris Salona, and I am here with Ethan Shalloway, and we are your hosts. Ethan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty great, man. Doing pretty great. The tide has shifted. It really is nice outside now. It's like, I think, we have to do this. So I haven't opened mine yet, but we're gonna celebrate by having a beer. So
we got some beers.
You already crack yours?
Yeah, it was. I already did. I had to get the bottle opener out.
I'm gonna crack mine live. Ready?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
So it's just a beautiful day. I'm drinking a Kona Big Wave Liquid Aloha.
Nice,
Tall
man.
Boy 16 ounce, and yeah, man, the weather is just shaping up. It feels like we've talked about this, but it feels like we earned this spring, and I'm ready to soak it all in and really enjoy like just the stuff that comes with spring, like flowers, budding flowers, and beginning of the baseball season, getting the gloves out, random, getting cutting the lawn for the first
Always
time.
A good time for a beer too.
Yep, you start getting to do lawn work and day drinking beers and getting manual labor done or something, random stuff that you just get to enjoy. Being
exactly
outside.
What we need. Yeah.
Yep, I feel like we earned it. So
totally.
This week was a good week for that. Track meets have begun. Coaching at the high school with Elijah, so went to a few track meets and just it just feels good. Feel very active. You feel
you gotta get active,
able to move and do stuff. Exactly. So the energy levels are really high. Spring vibes are coming, and it feels great. I mean, the official start of spring was March 20th, I believe. So we're a couple weeks in, but now it's like
we're in it now, man.
We're in it. Yep. So it's been great, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, let me echo everything that you just said. Things are really, really solid here. Also, my just general disposition is elevated because of the nice weather and everything, and feeling pretty good. Rolling right along. Got a bunch of fun and exciting things coming up this spring and summer. I'm having a good time day to day. I'm not too stressed about any one particular thing. And once again, I don't really have anything to complain about. We're recording this on April 4th, so tomorrow's Easter Sunday, and then the episode will come out on the 6th, the day after Easter, and looking forward to a good weekend. Nice
big
little
Easter
afternoon.
Weekend.
Yeah, man, we're starting off with a beer at like 1:15 in the afternoon, and who knows where the day's going to take us after this. I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to the holiday tomorrow, spend with my family. And in the interim, we get to have a nice conversation about the Smashing Pumpkins and Siamese Dream. So, who could really be too upset about that?
That sounds like a perfect weekend, right?
I think so.
Family time on deck, beautiful day. He has risen.
That's a full weekend.
All good things, yeah. So it's yeah, man. And like I said, we got a great episode here. We decided we wanted to keep it rolling with the albums that we haven't talked about yet on the pod, and sometimes we don't know which one to go to because we've done a lot at this point. I mean, this is episode 263, and I don't know, we probably reviewed 50 albums. That's like 20% of the episodes.
It's probably, I think it might be a bit higher than that. And it's funny too, because
we've done more than 50.
I think we have. Before we settled on Siamese Dream, we were talking on the phone, and we were like, hey, let's do Above by Mad Season or Temple of the Dog. And we both could not for the life of us remember having done it in concrete terms. And sure enough, we've done it in years past. So we've done a lot of them, Ethan. I think more than we think.
Yeah, we definitely need to get the spreadsheet rolling off some episodes and figure out, just the stats behind what we've done.
Let's get our quant on the case there and get them figured out.
But we really haven't done a Smashing Pumpkins episode. I think we've talked about it through.
We've done one episode, kind of broad strokes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Broad strokes. We've never done an album, so we decided that Siamese Dream was a great place to start. I feel like we've talked about Gish too. Maybe that was just alongside that one episode, but I don't know.
They've always been around.
Either way, we took the time. We chose that one. Beat out a few other contestants, which I'm sure we'll get to. In the coming months. So we're in the Smashing Pumpkin zone, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. I mean, they get some playtime on the page and in our lives. So why not talk about it a little bit? So
why not talk about it? You're so right.
Why not?
Ethan, I got to tell you, the last really the last like 10, 12 weeks. I've been having a lot of fun doing the podcast. I've really been enjoying it. And just want to give a great word of thanks to those tuning in. March 2026, the month that just ended, was our most successful podcast month since like July of 2024. And it seems like people are responding pretty positively to what we're doing here. And we just want to keep this ball rolling. You know, we're no stranger to this. This is not our first rodeo. And, you know, I'm just grateful for the fact that we can still enjoy this, and there's still things that we haven't discussed yet that we can present our conversations about. So thanks for tuning in, taking time out of your day to listen to us yap about music. And if you'd like to support us further than just tuning in and listening and subscribing, you can purchase merchandise at the link in the show notes over to our Creator Spring store, or you can join on Patreon. So we have a $2, $5, and $10 tier, and anything that you give goes directly to the maintenance, upkeep, production of this podcast. Those things are not free, and we're very grateful for our base of supporters there. And Ethan, this isn't the first time this has happened in Grunge Bible Patreon history. Prodigal sons have left the nest and have returned, and we have another one that's coming back, Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you remember well the mighty Fuck Soup, and Fuck Soup is back. We got a message from Fuck Soup. I'm just going to be able to say Fuck Soup as many times as I want. Yeah, I'll drink to that too. I'll drink my Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. Fuck Soup wrote us in and said, "Hey guys, I was listening to the 5-year anniversary episode and was inspired to rejoin. I remember in exact detail the drive I was making when I listened to that first episode way back when. It is somehow a core fucking memory. Who knew? Anyway, keep up the good fight. Also, I'm sitting here listening to Mark Lanigan's Hawk album. It's a great album. I've really come to appreciate it in the last year or so. It made me think of the Grunge Bible. So Fuck Soup, cheers to you, man. It's great to have you back. And that's just really cool that this person's got a memory of the first time they pressed play on our podcast. Hopefully we're a good driving soundtrack. I'd like to think that we are. And it's great to have you back in the fold in the top tier of Patreon supporters. And Fuck Soup rejoins this following crew of esteemed individuals. We would like to thank Jamie Lynn, Carlene Salona, The Blue Owl, Doug Endy, What the Fuck is Up, Denny's, Nikki Six, Black Hole Sean, Seattle 4 Fanboy from New Jersey, Eddie Vigor got me through my second divorce, Sherry Matthews, Gochu John Russell, King Buzzo Stole My Hair, The Michael Dooley Project, A Bit Dusty, Ultra Mega OK, Heidi in Chains, Looking California, Feeling Minnesota, Chris Buckley, and I couldn't forget at the top, Abraham and Frank and the Cracker Man. So thanks everybody for your continued support of this project we have going on here.
Yeah, that's awesome. A little bit of nostalgia thinking about the first time you tuned into the Grunge Bible podcast. See, that's the thing.
Cool,
if you do something long enough, you will be nostalgic for
that's it. Yeah.
Even if it's
we're manufacturing nostalgia over
we
here.
Are.
It's
yeah,
awesome because
like,
I fucking love nostalgia.
Oh yeah, for whatever reason, it is a core memory, and I feel that way about random stuff as well. So yeah, dude, we're happy to have you back, and yeah, dude, we're creating memories. I mean, I was just thinking like, we'll always have something to talk about because it's music, and what I love is we love building the map, right? Expanding the map, and I feel like we're just like talking music and developing our music taste and our music like our ability to analyze music. And there's like, I mean, just go so far, and you have to push yourself to say like listen to stuff and think about it differently. And it's fun because we're just continually evolving. Like, all right, we're challenging ourselves to talk differently, and we have a pretty good landscape or musical landscape built in our heads, but like it just keeps getting longer. We're making more connections, and like it's kind of never ending. The stuff you hear in songs, and listening to this album, Siamese Dream, I'm connecting it to like The Cure and some of his influences, and he connected to stuff after, and like you just get a really good idea of the bands and stuff again. And I don't know, you can just listen to music in the background, but like for whatever reason, having this podcast, like, all right, we got to listen to this. It like heightens everything that we listen to.
Yeah,
basically.
It really does. And this conversation even tied back into Fuck Soup joining up again. Like, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, music's not just music. It's the soundtrack to the important things that you're doing. And that's what got me really excited to talk about Siamese Dream today, just because, I mean, if you're listening, grab a beer and drink every time we say the word iconic, because we're going to say it a bunch this week. But, I don't know that there's a band from the 1990s that has, put itself in that position of being the soundtrack to a decade and to millions of people's adolescence more than the Smashing Pumpkins. I think particularly Siamese Dream is the apex of that. And that's you're building the soundtrack of your life alongside those memories that you make. And I think that's the one tenet that keeps us coming back and keeps us talking about music. And I'm sure that's why a lot of people listen, because it's not just background music, as you said. The best, Eddie Vedder said, the best songs are the ones that make you feel something. And that's what this is all about. And I know a lot of people feel a lot of things with the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm excited to kind of talk about that today.
All right. I really, want to keep going on that. But before we do, let's do This Day in Music and talk about some things that happen. And
Absolutely.
then we'll get back into the pumpkins. So,
yeah, man.
All right. On April 5th, 1966, the great Mike McCready was born.
Turning 60.
Birthday. Happy birthday, Mike. 60 years old. That's incredible. That's like, are you old then? Is that the old marker now? 60?
Well, the funny thing, when I was younger, I thought 60 was way old, and my mom is over 60 now, and like she doesn't feel old to me, so it's kind of caused me to recalibrate. I mean, then again, when I was a teenager, I thought 30 was old, and I'm gonna be 30 soon, so it better not be old. And no, 60 is not old, but it's kind of funny just thinking about it, because Mike just turned 60 yesterday, and Jerry Cantrell turned 60 last month. So there's not our musical heroes from this time. There's not a lot of them anymore whose birthday begins with the whose age begins with a 5. So they're aging gracefully, and Mike's still one of the best guys around, one of the best guitarists around. So happy birthday!
I mean, this album came out 32 years ago.
Yeah, right? 33 years ago.
Yeah,
crazy. Time waits for no one, man.
Yeah, I thought it was 94. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. 2 more events that happened on April 5th, the day before this podcast is coming out. We'll be posting about this, and you'll see them on your timeline if you follow the page on Instagram. But April 5th of 1994 was the day that Kurt Cobain died, and April 5th of 2002 was the day that Lane Staley died. So probably the most somber day on the grunge-adjacent calendar. 2 absolutely monumental creative people who left us a wealth of music that is still inspiring to this day. It's so cool to know and to interact with people on the page that are just getting into their music. And, they've been gone. Kurt's been gone for 32 years and Lane's been gone for 24 years. But the inspirational propulsion to their music is only gaining power as time goes on, which is a testament to what they did. And, they were people. They were here, and they had lives, and they accomplished so much and struggled with so much, and can never stop learning from those guys. And I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to continue to learn from them and be close to them through their music. So miss both of them immensely.
Yeah, we've done a few episodes talking about their
just about every year around this time period.
Pretty much
talk about them. So.
And this year, we're going to be talking about the Pumpkins. So if you want to, there's a few episodes to go back if you're feeling like going back in the archives and having that discussion. It is there. You can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we've done it a few times. So we'll definitely be thinking about them, and as we always do. And
Absolutely. So let's turn the page to April 6th, the day that this podcast is coming out. On this day in 1937, the great Merle Haggard was born, absolute legend of the country music scene, the outlaw country music scene. He was a legend, and definitely if I'm listening to country music, it's going to be stuff like that. Not this Chris Stapler, Eric Church type stuff that goes on. So happy birthday to the late, great Merle Haggard.
All right. Now, moving to 1974, the great Billy Joel scores his first top 40 hit with Piano Man, which comes in at number 3 on the week's chart.
Number 33.
What did I say, 3? No, number 30.
It should have been number 3. That song's a banger.
Yeah. How was it 33? I thought that was a mistype.
Dude.
Yeah, dude. Piano Man, dude. Great, incredible song. Obviously, the first song that I heard by...
They're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone.
Yeah, dude, that's a killer line.
I can't believe it only got up to 33.
That can't be right, dude. Honestly,
I checked. I checked a couple sources, and maybe there's a conspiracy. There's an anti-Joel conspiracy out there. It's funny. My buddy Tom. Whenever we hang out, there's one rule, and it's no Billy Joel is to be played. He's just not a Billy Joel guy. So maybe Tom is behind this smear campaign against Piano Man. I'll have to check with him.
I'm doing a quick real
time
Yeah, quick real time. I just want to click into the local Philly classic rock radio station 1029 and their top 500, and
Oh yeah,
I want to just see where it falls if it
dude, fine piano man. So
it's in the
while
first
you
25.
while you
Yeah.
check that out, I'll move forward to
There it is,
oh
31. Dang
31.
it, it's
There we go.
31. It's
Dude,
right around but that's all time.
that's all
That's
time.
all time. So
I have no
33 in that
problems with
week.
that ranking, man.
I mean, 31
33.
all time, 33 for the week. Like, there's no way that the other 32 songs during that time were out, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty
revisionist
crazy.
history, obviously,
Yeah.
it
Dude,
continued to
hey,
rise. And
quarterbacks don't throw any interceptions on Monday morning. I'll tell you that much. Let's move
Dude.
forward to this day in 1980, and April 6th of 1980 was Easter Sunday, and as the legend goes, Easter Sunday 1980 was the day that the proto-grunge group Malfunction was born, when brothers Andrew and Kevin Wood skipped their Easter dinner at their grandmother's house to record what would be their first demo, which was entitled Malfunction. So they
We
were
should have
like,
did an episode on that,
yeah,
man.
dude. We'll get Scotty Crane back in the mix, and we'll talk
Yeah, we
about some
do.
Malfunction, the Bainbridge Island connection going on there. But I think they were like 13 and 14, if that, at the time, which is crazy. You know, Silverchair was 15, but the Wood brothers, man, they skipping Easter dinner too, man. That's big time. I respect the hell out of that.
That's pretty wild to record the first demo on Easter.
Who would have
Awesome.
thought?
All right, moving to 1993, we have the great Tool releases their debut studio album Undertow, and that's amazing, dude. Yeah, they were going on all through the 90s. I thought they were a little older. I always feel like they started in like the 80s, at the end of the 80s.
I think they started the early like 91, something like that, before some music came out. But Tool's a huge blind spot for me still. I haven't mustered the courage to jump off the diving board into those waters. I'm a little scared still after all these years, but who knows? You know, we keep doing the podcast for 5 more years. I'm sure by, episode number 641, we'll be diving into the Tool catalog.
I texted you earlier this week and I said, dude, I unironically am becoming a big Tool fan. They just keep popping up on playlists, and their songs are just so intense.
This is what happens.
Like,
this is why you talk about music with your friends, because somebody gets into it and it pushes the other people to be open and to take that leap. I know that's happened between us countless times, and hopefully that's what this show does for people if we talk about stuff that they're not familiar with. So who knows, maybe we're planting the Tool seeds here as we commemorate the
garden tools. I'm just like, every time I play, I usually go and pick a song that I want to listen to, and I just click go to radio.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of create the station, which may be lazy, but like, Tool pops up on, like, I can pick any song, and like, well, not any song, but like the heavier songs that I kind of go with, or whatever the era is.
Right.
And yeah, the Tool's been popping up, and like, they're just really in depth, and just, really interesting songs. And there's no one quite like Tool. Like,
it's a soundscape.
There's no one quite like it. And I've heard a lot about their live shows, so I'm just intrigued at this point.
Yeah, very intriguing.
Very intriguing.
So happy 33rd birthday to their debut album Undertow. And we are going to finish this day in music history right back where we began. The Hag, Merle Haggard, born on this day in 1937 and died on this day in 2016. He died on his 79th birthday. And that's crazy, man. Dying on your birthday. That's not a bad.
I kind of want to go out that way, because
that's kind of cool.
You could say, like, I am 79.
Yeah. Like, I am exactly 79. Like, you don't have to do the math. Like, no. You know what, that's pretty metal, dude. I mean, he was a countercultural type guy, and fighting the establishment. Just
you don't hear that much. I mean, that's
what
are the chances? 1 in 365.
1 in 365.
1 in 365, right?
I don't know, man. I'm not a math guy, that's for damn sure, but seems pretty significant. So happy birthday and rest in peace to Merle Haggard. We're going to pledge allegiance to the Hag and let his flag fly high and celebrate him.
That's amazing.
I'm going
to get into it later. That's great.
Oh, yeah. So that's this day in music history for April the 6th. And with that in the books, it's time to jump into Siamese Dream by the Smashing Pumpkins. So, as we typically do here, I'm going to yap a little bit about some background. We got quotes because why hear it from us when you can hear it from the people that were involved in it? Don't want to listen to a bunch of schmucks talk about this exclusively. But Siamese Dream, the second studio album from the Smashing Pumpkins, this was released on Virgin Records. And their first studio album, as many of us know, was Gish, which was released May 28th, 1991 on Caroline Records, which was a subsidiary of Virgin Records. So after Gish, Gish comes out in May of 1991. Later that year, the whole grunge thing explodes with Nevermind, and Ten's doing its thing. Everything's coming out, and there's a whole lot of popularity. And the suits at Virgin Records kind of saw what was going on with the Pumpkins, and they liked their sound, and they figured that they were going to be a big hit. So the Pumpkins got the call up from the minor league Caroline Records to the major label debut here with Virgin Records. And this record was released initially in the United Kingdom on July 19th, 1993, before a worldwide, including the United States, worldwide release 1 week later on July 27th, 1993. That's a good time for a record to come out. I feel like all the records come out in August or September or October, or they come out in like February or March. Like hitting a summertime release is pretty cool. And related to this, the night before the record came out, on July 26th of 1993, the Smashing Pumpkins played an acoustic set featuring a lot of the songs from this record at a Tower Records in Chicago. And that video is out there on YouTube. I'll be sure to post some of that when we release this episode. But it's an unbelievable video, great quality, and it's cool to hear these songs in a public setting for really the first time, as the record would come out the next day. And the Smashing Pumpkins decided to return to the Butch Vig well. Butch Vig had produced their first album, Gish, back in '91, and he was tabbed again to co-produce this time alongside Billy Corgan there, who we all know very well and who we're going to hear a lot from on this episode. Personnel was unchanged from the Gish era to Siamese Dream. You had Billy Corgan, James Ehud, Darcy Retzky, and the great Jimmy Chamberlain keeping time on drums. And that was the fearsome foursome that they brought into this thing. And I'll tell you, it's really interesting, the kind of the conditions that existed going into the studio for this record. This record, it was recorded from December of 1992 to March of 1993, so it took just about 4 months, and recording by and large took place at Triclops Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And not all was well in the Smashing Pumpkins world leading up to Siamese Dream. There was a lot of pressure, obviously, getting the big call up to the big label. Billy Corgan, famously neurotic about his creation, about his writing, and about, very domineering in the studio. All of those things kind of came into play. In addition to that, Jimmy Chamberlain was struggling with an addiction to heroin at the time. There were stories that while they were recording this record, he just wouldn't be seen for a few days, and he'd come back in a really, really rough shape, and they'd have to kind of get him back. And, he ended up going to rehabilitation shortly after this album was recorded and released. And if that wasn't enough, James Ehud and Darcy Retzky were involved in a relationship that crumbled just prior to entering the studio here. So, you had all those things going on, and then you had the Corgan factor. This was not a great time in Billy Corgan's life. He's on record in so many different places talking about this time in his life and his relation to the greater music scene, his relation and his own expectations for his own work and his expectation for his bandmates' work, and struggling with all of those things, his fame, his desire to be famous, his desire to have his band be successful, in addition to mental health struggles, depression. And referring to that time period, Billy Corgan said, "I was suicidal and I'd been plotting my own death for about 2 months. And if you've ever read anything about the warning signs of suicide, one of them is you give away all your stuff. And I'd given away all my stuff. I gave away all my records. I started giving away my guitars. I was fantasizing about my own death. I started thinking what my funeral would be like and what music would be played. I was at that level of insanity." And that theme, I think, chiefly comes up in the Smashing Pumpkins song Today, which is on this record, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, very, very tenuous time.
Yeah, I mean, those are the big three that I feel like if
Yeah.
I struggle with in my life, but it's like you got relationship problems, and some of you're doing business with like inner work relationships. Obviously, drugs always run rampant in your 20s, and then like just like general depression and and just trying to be all controlling or having something like those are some three massive problems that are really hard to navigate in your anytime, but in your 20s. So yeah, they were dealing with it,
And
right?
that was
And
just the situation going into it. That's to speak nothing of what happened once they started putting this record together.
and this, like, you have to understand, this is with only Gish coming out. Like, we don't have Today yet, right? This is
Yeah.
all like leading up to it. This is before Bullet.
There's no Cherub Rock,
There's no Cherub
we're
Rock.
still
Yeah,
a few
like
years away from
this is no
1979 and
Corgan.
Melancholy.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Billy
Corgan is
still
just
had hair.
yeah. Billy is just he's just a kid who's like really controlling and just like crazy meticulous on how he wants things done, and they're trying to make it work. And like the record label don't know who they're dealing with, you know? They just know that like they're comparing him to Nirvana, and you have all this pressure to be like the next, the next Nevermind, and there's all this pressure. And like, I mean, yeah, dude, I mean, like I said, we do these reviews obviously 35 years later, so we know the story. But put yourself in that place, and yeah, it must have been really difficult to just navigate and have to work with each other, work like just while you're trying to make it, while you're trying to get up, and you have one leg to stand on in a lot of cases. So um, yeah, it produced. Obviously, we got a really good record out of it, but like, it took a lot. I mean, this is like going back to Degradation Trip and certain things we get to look, and it's like, man, the creation of these records, like we just have the final product, and you hear the stories and you hear the conversations of how it was, but like, I it's a lot hard. I don't know, it's a lot
Well, it's like
bigger
what it's
a
like what
lot of
Jerry said
times.
talking
Yeah.
about those records where he's like the great ones can walk the line and can get out into the wilderness a little bit and still find their way home. And that's definitely what this record was. And Billy said talking about the album, he said, quote, "It was basically a big fuck off to anyone who had doubted us as a band. In a positive way, I really wanted to embrace the notions of creativity and just go as far out as we wanted to go and not get too hung up about the commercial aspects." And you have that, you really want to prove yourself. There's so much traffic with the interpersonal relationships in the band and also your own relationship with yourself. As recording started getting underway, the record label was not heavily involved, and they didn't have their thumb on the scale in terms of production or anything like that. But the record label did review some of the early demos from the Siamese Dream sessions, and they really liked what they heard. And I think, when Butch Vig and Billy Corgan, took light of that and knew that the label kind of liked what they had so far, that just upped the pressure dial to the max. And, there's a lot of stories about the Siamese Dream sessions where chiefly Corgan and Vig were working 16, 17, 18-hour days, 7 days a week, nonstop to get this thing done and to get this thing sounding the way they wanted to do. Billy was known to spend, 3 or 4 days at a time just on one 45-second musical arrangement in the bridge of a song, for example, or an intro or an outro, really just working their hands to the bone. And that process and Billy's belief in his own creative vision and his desire to achieve that regardless of the cost had quite a big impact on the relationships in the band. So very famously, as I'm sure if you've studied this record at all, if you've heard about it, at a certain point in the recording sessions for this, Billy essentially relieved Darcy of bass duties and James of guitar duties, and essentially went on to play just about every single bass and guitar part himself. And that created obviously a lot of animosity, because if you're the bassist or if you're the guitarist in a band and you're in the studio, like, you're there to fucking play. And that's not the way that it ended up going down. And that created, as I said, so much animosity. But Billy, I think there's a parallel here, Ethan, between, what Billy was doing here and what a lot of the great athletes have to do, and that personal belief in that 100% notion that like what my ideas are and the way that I want to do it is the only way to do it that's going to be successful and that's going to be satisfying. And it's the same with great athletes. That comes at a cost, both to people around you and certainly elements of your own personal life.
Yeah, I mean, I like it sucks that, there's so much tension and so much like kind of stepping on toes of each other. And but like, yeah, like you said, there I do understand where it's like when you have this drive to be successful, and like, there's a lot of times where you feel like I need, take matters into your own hands, and it consumes you, and yeah, you definitely do whatever it takes. And um yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to be said about the dynamics, and like, we know the rest of the history. Like, the band changes and people come in, and Billy, he does, basically makes it his own band and like controls like everything moving
Yeah.
forward. And this is like the beginning where it all kind of started. And um,
Very unforgiving studio boss to have.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was, he was producing with, Butch. It was like they were working on this together, like a ton. And not every artist does that. I mean, usually it's like
Yeah.
they just play the music and give it up. So,
Yeah, and
uh,
he's spoken quite a bit about this, kind of talking about the band dynamic at the time. Billy said, "We rehearsed a lot, we worked together a lot, we argued about things other than music. We actually never argued about music. They believed in what the album represented. They actually really believed in the album, but the actual physical making of the record, they couldn't live up to that level of scrutiny. They couldn't live up to that level of pressure. It destroyed my health, it destroyed my relationships. I went out of my mind." And, if that's, to refer back to Jerry Cantrell saying the great ones kind of have to walk the line. I mean, this man is over the line and past the line. And I think, a lot of the animosity, which led to some of these band members departing in the subsequent years, I think it has its roots here. And furthermore, Billy Corgan did an interview in 1995 with David Frick for Rolling Stone, and just kind of talking about the process and what the band dynamic was from Gish to Siamese Dream and beyond. Billy said, "Before Gish came out, the most we'd been on the road together was 10 days. And suddenly we're on the road for 4 months. We're pitching pennies, arguing about who was going to order what at breakfast because it was expensive. So it was really down to dumb shit. So by the time we rolled around to Siamese Dream, all those insecurities put immense pressure on the band, and couple that with my severe depression. I didn't mean to make light of it, but I was in a really bad way. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it different. I really would. But it is what it is, and we've come out the other side."
yeah, yeah. I mean, only being with each other for 10 days and then going on the road for 10 days and
Yeah.
then having all this time together. I mean, it's you're working through relationships,
It's like you do the Gish thing
dynamics.
and you think it gets real then, and then flash forward to a couple of years
Yeah, when you put
and it
pressure
just
in
gets
your,
ratcheted up even more to levels that you may not have thought possible.
yeah, when your career, it's like I said, it's like the breaking point in your career. It's your one shot and you need to, make it right. So yeah, it's crazy. It definitely, there's just so much going on in the band. Like I'm just thinking, like Jimmy, he would like disappear for a couple of days on his benders, and they were really worried about him. And you know, y- they brought to Atlanta or to Georgia, hoping to get away from all that stuff. But you never can really get away from, um, get away from the dealers and whatnot. I mean, they find you anywhere, and so like it's really difficult to deal with.
It's one of those things too that knowing the music that came out of this process, it's kind of unbelievable that the band was able to make it through something like this, but also make it through something like this with such a great result. And I think in terms of art and creativity, the word savant gets thrown around a lot. And I think whatever you think of Billy Corgan or his temperament or his personality or, the way that he's spoken about other people, like I think that is a very apt description of him. The creative vision that he had was so specific and so unique. And despite all of that traffic, the unwavering confidence that he had in it, I think is chiefly responsible for what propelled this record and what got it to sound the way that it did. And, he's kind of one of those guys that is honest to a fault. I mean, even after Melancholy came out, they were doing an interview in 1996, and he was kind of talking about what changed maybe between Siamese Dream and Melancholy in terms of, just taking over every single part of the playing of the guitars and the bass. And he said, by the time Melancholy came around, we worked out systems by which those things wouldn't happen this time. Nobody understands the scenario. We were under different pressures, different economic constraints. Not everybody moves as quickly as I do. James comes up with great ideas. It just takes him twice as long as it takes me. So I try not to penalize anybody for the speed at which they move. And that's just kind of like a backhanded compliment where it's like, yeah, man, like he has some good ideas, but like he's not as quick as I am, and like he can't get the job done like I can. And speaking of those economic constraints, by the time Siamese Dream was finished, they were $250,000 over budget for the project.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's with him doing all the doing all the parts and speeding up the process. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily maybe agree with everything that Billy does, but I do understand. I think when you're driving a ship and you have like dreams, whatnot, and if everybody else is they have problems they're dealing with, and like sometimes it is easier to step in and just make work with the producer. It's like less hands, and so I mean people do it a lot. There's a lot of albums out there, and it just sucks that like you know he the relationships just were like it wasn't up front, or there was it just it was messy. It was messy
Yeah.
the entire time. It wasn't like, hey, let me help, like let's help finish this off or whatever. It seemed like pretty standoffish and like kind of degrading
There's
at
just a
times.
lot of dynamics there that are inherently incompatible with one another, whichever way you try to shape it down. And when you add the pressure and the desire to make something timeless and make something
Yeah.
commercially successful, I think it kind of ruins any chance for reconciliation in the moment.
So that gives us the album, right? And I just want to talk about the album. The album is awesome.
It's
Okay. I mean,
unbelievable.
and right. And so Chris and I were listening, and I had the same exact thought, and he brought it up. He's like, dude, I don't know what it is. Like, there's kind of no way to really explain it, but this is like the epitome of 90s rock. And like I was like, dude, I totally agree. I was like, this sound, the guitar, and like when they talk about sonic depth, and you hear about like people wanting to have like layers and like sounds and like this great soundscape. Like, I mean, the Smashing Pumpkins like are you know one of the best bands out there to do that on a lot of their stuff. And I mean, Billy gets kind of obsessed with it with like I don't know his newer albums. I mean, he's really into that stuff. So
Experimental.
experimental, and like they talked about like some songs would have 100 guitar parts layered over each other in like one like 6-minute song or 4-minute song. I mean, that's a lot, and it's a lot of time, and that's why he's very meticulous. And but the sound that we were left with, the tone, like I mean, we break down every part too. I mean, the guitar, the vocals, the drums, like Jimmy was absolute
Jimmy is an
machine
animal.
back there. Yeah, an
Yeah.
absolute machine gun back there. And they capture the sound that like I don't know how else to describe it, but it's 90s rock. It's like it's a alternative. It's like the birth of alternative for the rest of the 90s, because this was 93, and it's kind of it was just taking all the 80s stuff and the kind of the sad boy rock that you got there, and like amping it up a little bit, and just amazing stuff. And then obviously they have all the slower songs in here, like Disarm and Soma, or
Space
few
Boy.
yeah, like all the
Luna.
slower. Yeah, there's some really great stuff, but man, like the sound is just it's hard to describe it. It's just 90s.
Yeah.
It's 90s rock, and it's so beautiful. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
awesome. It's
we
so good
talk
to drive
about
to.
yeah, we talk about 90s rock obviously incessantly on this show, and I mean, innumerable times we'd be talking about a Kim Thile part or a Jerry Cantrell riff, and one of those things, we commonly say, when you hear something like this, it's Kim, or it's Jerry, or it's McCready, or hey, that's a Stone Gossard riff, or that's Kurt playing guitar. I think Billy Corgan's guitar and its distinctiveness trumps all of them in terms of you can listen to 3 seconds and you know that it's a Smashing Pumpkins song. And we were having a conversation a little bit earlier, just kind of opening that up to music history as a whole. And I think the Pumpkins have very few peers in terms of being able to hear the instruments and know who it is. I mean, I thought about, Hendrix's guitar or Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar as
Yeah.
being similarly
Zeppelin.
recognizable and iconic. Zeppelin, but I think out of all of the 90s, the Smashing Pumpkins are the champions of that. And, iconic, once again, Drink Up. It's not even strong enough of a word to describe this. If you had to kind of, send one band's sound out as a boilerplate message of this is what the 90s was like for music, I would say it would be this. I would be the Smashing Pumpkins. I think in particular Siamese Dream, as time went on, obviously Melancholy and subsequent projects, the experimental dial gets turned up a little bit more, but this is just like hard line, from vision to playing, just a
Yeah.
direct line there and right to the record, and it's perfectly executed.
Yeah, it's one of those sounds that people try to replicate, and I mean, really, it is its own genre. Like, it's like Smashing Pumpkins is its own genre, and you have like Silver Sun pickups or Our Lady Peace, or just there's bands that play this type of, and when they jam, like the jamming that they get into is it's so intense and and it's a I love a good jam,
I
and
even
these
hear
guys.
through lines from this shit to like to like hum or Deftones even, and just
Yeah,
in terms of the jammability and just the full frontal assault of noise.
totally.
And we were having the conversation again earlier. Just I wish I was a gearhead and I wish I could really get into the weeds of how they recorded this and what pedals they were using, what feedback they used, what their settings were on the guitars and everything, because they're really making a sound that hadn't really been done before. And everybody condescendingly at the time was referring to, the Pumpkins as kind of, Nirvana ripoff or the next Nirvana or whatever, as that was just the lazy thing to do. But it's so much more than that. And there's so much layering to this that really makes it distinct from anything else that existed. And I would honestly say even more so than Nirvana, this is the soundtrack of the 1990s. And, if you were, you're in high school or in college in the early to mid 90s, the Pumpkins were absolutely everywhere. And you had their CD in your car, you played it in your dorm room, you heard it on the radio, you went to their shows when they came. And it was just a indispensable part of music culture at the time.
Yeah, and you know, talking about just like their sound and the pedals and the tone, and I'm fascinated, especially with talking about all Jerry's work and stuff. Um, when you have the ability to make changes or distortions to the original, like I love popcorn, right?
Yeah.
I love butter and salt, and I don't really want to mess around like the other flavors, but you can. And if you just like douse it with like, I don't know, Parmesan cheese
Well,
and
you
hot
throw
sauce,
M&Ms in there or
yeah,
something.
you throw it all in there, like you're probably gonna get this, or it's like making a hoagie. If you just throw everything in there, like it gets sloppy. But
Yeah.
like when people curate and like make decisions, like that's what they do on this. I think
Give the
there's a lot of
flavors a chance to come through to the
there's a lot of
palate.
yeah, you need to give a lot of credit to the people that use like pedal boards but tastefully. Like, you can't just like wah everything out and distort everything. Like they are choosing certain things for certain riffs and choruses, and like I mean it's an art. And I think
Yeah.
like that's something that I'm new to understanding, are just like, okay, yeah, these are all decisions that they made to amplify the sound and song. Because if you just take a guitar and play it, like it has a bass sound, and then
Yeah.
you get all these other sounds out of it, the tuning and this and that.
And
So
certainly with Corgan, none of this was accidental. This
yeah,
was all
and I'm
very
not,
intentional.
yeah, and I'm not, saying you guys don't know this, or like, yeah, well, no shit, but like, I think it gets overlooked sometimes because we just have this finished product of sound. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, that was like, but it's like you need to have a lot of skill and like a lot of understanding about what sounds good sonically.
Right.
And there's that word again, like sonically, to be able to put together. And it really is just well done, and it's iconic.
There's a lot
Drink.
of drink again, yeah. There's a lot of electricity to the way the instruments sound. That's the best way
Yeah.
I can describe it. And Billy Corgan has such a polarizing voice. I mean, for every 5 people that love it and that find that it works as we do, there's 10 people that really can't stand it. But I think it's deployed so well, and like he knows what his voice can give as an instrument, and it plays off of the sound of the music so well. And the melodies are great, the riffs are unbelievable, the drumming, everything comes together on this record
Right.
so well.
And if he sang like Kurt, maybe you play more guitar like Kurt, right? Or if he sang like Lane,
Yeah.
you play this, you have a certain voice and you match, like it just fits, it matches. I think the voice, like, yeah, obviously if he sings, a gospel song, it's not going to sound like what we think,
Yeah. Dude,
so that's
love him
why,
or hate him, he never tried to be anybody but himself. And
yeah.
that's unbelievably admirable, especially, at the time. I mean, we see this with so many bands throughout the 90s. They kind of saw the Nirvana thing going on and they're like, hey, we got to get a little bit of that in our music and kind of copy that and riff off of that a little bit. And I don't find any of that here at all. I find, a band that was an individual, especially, that was just so supremely motivated and had this vision of a record. And, certainly as we discussed with the process for it, he stopped at nothing to make that vision a reality.
Um, there was the beginning. I saw Jimmy Chamberlain. He said the first time he saw the Pumpkins, they were using a drum machine or drum track
Yep.
or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I saw them for the first time. They were using a drum track and they sucked. And he was like, he said something, and Billy didn't like him, but then he played for him. He's like, this guy's unreal. And they had to play together basically.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, shout out Jimmy Chamberlain. Honestly, Chris, I put the album on and I was like playing through, because we've played Cheryl Brock in the past, and I love jamming that. And I
Yeah,
played like kind of went through and tried to play all the songs, and I wasn't able to play, to my speed right now is definitely not there. But
sure.
I will say, Chris, that when it comes to drummers, I'm a lot like Chamberlain,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of hi-hat. There's a ton of hi-hat in there. I mean, it's really just kind of blitzing, like, but in 4/4 time. Like it's not like I'm not a very good like I wouldn't be able to play Tool, and like I have a
totally.
decent musical understanding, but like once we get off of 4/4, I'm not great. And like they do a
Yeah,
lot of stuff, and it's just kind of like really heavy, just a constant kick, and with good speed. And obviously not as good as Chamberlain, but like it's similar. Like I really like his jams and the way that he runs through songs. and
yeah,
and like all of these songs have, they when they recorded it, they didn't use a click. Like they were just like it was him playing the drums. Like it was just whatever speed, and like he was the click, which is not easy to do, and a lot of people don't do it. So you have a raw aspect to just like the drive of the song because of that.
yeah.
Um, and it's intense. The guy's a legend. I mean, he's really good. So
It's so intense. So what do you say? Let's popcorn around to some of these
yep.
songs on the record. I want to start with Cherub Rock, which is the first song. And when they remastered this record in 2011, they also released updated liner notes from Billy Corgan. And I love what he had to say about Cherub Rock. He said, "This song's message is aimed squarely at the empty hearts of our detractors who question our doleful mix of cheeky sincerity and our lack of reverence for false indie gods and oh so carefully posed pedestals." This man's got a lot of people on his shit list, and he's gonna let you hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He sounds like he's writing for, Pitchfork or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was right at Pitchfork. Yeah,
All these verbs and everything to talk about it. But,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, you
it's
start with Cherub
awesome.
Rock. Like, I mean, there's what are there? There's 13 songs on this record, and I kept having this internal conversation in my head as I was listening. I was like, what is the one song that if you only had one chance to share it from this record? And when you drop the needle initially, it's Cherub Rock, but then when you get to Today, it might be Today or Hummer or Rocket
Mm-hmm.
or Soma. It's just hit after hit after hit after hit. But I mean, in terms of once again, every time we talk about these older records, I always mention, I wish I would have known what it'd be like to pick this thing up in July of '93 and put it in my CD player for the first time. The new Pumpkins record and Cherub Rock, that's your first exposure to it, and just the way that it sounds, you can tell that the foundation from Gish is still there, but it's brought up to a completely new level. Everything's elevated on this thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like every song could be, they'll be like, oh, yeah, this
Yeah.
is a perfect representation of the Smashing
It's
Pumpkins.
so
Like
buzzy and
today.
punchy,
So, but then, oh, Hummer, just like everything is Rocket. It could be any of these. And Cherub Rock, like obviously it's a total jam. It's got like this groove to it. It has these awesome builds, and like I said, a ton of snare being paired with the hi-hat and like the intro and like the middle build. And I always love that. That's always fun to like. It's always fun to play.
Yeah,
Um,
dude. Freak out and give in. Doesn't matter what you believe in. Stay cool and be somebody's fool this year, because they know who is righteous, what is bold, so I'm told. And I love, obviously, the chorus, who wants honey as long as there's some money? Who wants that honey? A
mhm.
big ol' fuck you, as he said. It's a big ol' fuck off to the detractors.
Yeah, it's a good one. Really, really strong start to the album. And then
Yeah.
was episode two, song number two, we go with Quiet. And not super quiet, right, in the way
Dude,
they play, just really
Jimmy
buzzy.
sets the tone on this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and yeah, he loves rocking around the toms, and
Oh, yeah.
just yeah, it's like a groundswell to start off the song. And this is a heavy one, right? This is a heavy tone to the guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It
Sure
rips.
is. Yeah, it absolutely rips. And it's
Great
kind of
guitar
funny,
work,
you have these
solo.
first two songs, which are kind of that hard driving thing. And then Today, the third song, that opening arpeggiated guitar riff right here is just, Drink up, it's iconic, everybody. This is like when we were doing Degradation Trip Volumes 1 and 2, when every single song we were just like, what a riff. Like, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
this is
When in
iconic.
doubt, like what a riff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and this song, Ethan, today really started a fascination that I've had ever since with music, where there is such a juxtaposition between a
yeah,
song that instrumentally sounds really happy and upbeat, and the lyrics are just absolutely just stone cold depressing.
yeah.
And as we talked about earlier with kind of Billy's headspace going in, he really kind of gets down to business on today. He said, "I was really suicidal. I just thought it was funny to write a song that said today is the greatest day of your life because it can't get any worse." He also said it was written in a very difficult period of my life. We had just put out our first album, Gish, in 1991. We did the tour for about 14 months. The longest we had been on tour before that was about 20 days. After the tour, I entered into the worst writing slump I'd ever had. Being in public brought out a lot of feelings that I'd repressed from childhood. I found myself confronted with all these demons I thought I had locked away. I entered into this really horrible part of my life. At one point, I ended up sleeping on Darcy's floor. I lived in a parking garage for a while. I was completely obsessed with killing myself. It became my primary preoccupation. Out of the depths of this despair, I bottomed out and literally came down to a simple decision. Either kill yourself or get used to it, work, live, and be happy. So I wrote this song. As you can see, I chose another kind of death, which is rock and roll. And at this point in my life, it's a positive song in that it is about survival.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man.
It is. It's really intense, and this song is unironically, an awesome song. Really
I wanted
well
more
well
than
put
life could
together.
ever grant me, bored by the chore of saving face.
Yeah, and like this definitely has that really soft intro, like you said, the
Yeah.
guitar popping around, and then it comes in really heavy with
Yeah.
just some
The
driving
drums and the
chords
buzzy guitar. Yeah.
Mhm. And that set the tone for a lot of band like Hum, Stars, and
Yeah.
certain
100%.
certain songs, and this is the blueprint for a lot of things. Um, and yeah, and the chorus has like he has his voice that is like this high pitched, kind of happy sounding voice, and you said it's funny that it really was born out of depression, and but as he talks about later, like it's changed. As I think Eddie Vedder, he's talked about it
Talking
with
about
he's
Alive. Yeah. About the
Mhm.
story of the curse and how as time passes and people take from it with different meanings with, Eddie wrote Alive and it was this horrible story about his father
Right.
and the betrayal. But then when people interpret it, it's like they're celebrating that they're alive, and I think there's a similar element at play here with today. And it's such a testament, I think, to be able to fight through those time periods that you can reclaim those moments as moments of triumph and see positivity in it. And that's a universal lesson, whether you're a musician or not.
Yeah, this one. Wonder where it landed on our top 500 songs.
Oh man.
Throw that in there, but
I hope it's in there. Yeah.
yeah. Now that we're reviewing all these albums, like we've never done an album list, have we?
No, we've done the top 100
We did
songs, but we've
song.
never done top albums.
Maybe that's
We,
something
we
we
might
want
have
to
to
do.
get in the studio and start
I wonder
working
how.
on that.
What would the right number be? 50,
50 or 100, I think.
100 albums? Yeah, that's
Dude,
like to
we're
give it
good for it.
think we could do 100.
I think we could.
I mean, apparently we maybe even talked about 100 albums.
We may have, yeah. I'll have to take a tally.
It would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be really fun.
They said definitely could do 20.
Yeah, dude.
But we'd have to do more, obviously. We're gonna do something like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's today.
That is today. Let's keep
All right,
rolling,
Hummer.
kind of getting to the middle of the record here. So I had the thought that Cherub Rock, Hummer, and Rocket are like the trinity of the guitar sounds that are analogous and that are kind of tantamount to what the Pumpkins were doing at this time. And Ethan, I love the note that you wrote kind of about the intro of Hummer here. And I had forgotten about this, when I was listening through, like you hear this like weird, I don't even know what's going on at the beginning before the guitars come in, and you said that it was kind of like Donovan and the Hurdy-Gurdy Man, which is great. Anytime we can mention that song is a good day.
Yeah, it like I listened to it, I was like, dude, this sounds like it sounds like the Hurdy-Gurdy, and but at the time I couldn't really put my finger on it because it doesn't sound exactly like it.
Right.
But also I kept thinking like Brian Jonestown Massacre type stuff.
Yeah.
Like how and they have those influences in them. I think I was watching it. It was one of those interviews that I was watching, and I guess they were opening a show and they were waiting to play, and Billy was like, it was a song by Donovan. He's like, play the song, you know, and he like played the intro. He's like, play it again. And he's like, play it again. And they just kept replaying, and the crowd was getting upset. They were like, you know, like, stop playing Donovan. And like he wouldn't do it until they came out. So um it, you know, it's a very interesting start to the song. And this song is definitely a heater.
Yeah.
It like has the ups and downs. Like it's a very complete, like it's a freaking 7 minute song.
Yeah.
And you
First
get
long
that.
one.
I feel like you get that a lot in their catalog. Like they will, I mean, this is an hour long album for sure. And
Yeah.
but they just jam, dude. They really take the time to like develop the sounds and develop, you know, kind of the story of the song. And this is a great example. This was a lot of fun to listen to.
I love that it
And
follows up.
it drops
Yeah.
out like almost completely with like halfway through or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's pretty awesome. I love that it follows up today in terms of what the lyrical content is, because you're talking
Mm.
about writing a song about how today's the best day because it can't get any worse. And then you go to Hummer, and you've got some of the lyrics here. You know, when you decide that your life is a prize, renew and revive. It's all right, honey. It's all right. Happiness will make you wonder, will I feel okay? It scares the disenchanted far away. And
Mm.
it's kind of like that struggle that's going on right there, and it's evident here. And yeah, I like you said, I love, you know, almost 7 minutes here, checking it at 6 minutes and 56 seconds, and it really has a lot of time to explore kind of every area of sound: the loud, the soft, the fast, the slow.
Yeah, and they you know, they use violins, they use strings, and they use piano
Everything's going
across
on
the
here.
album. Yeah, in the song, and they do a great job of, you know, turning off the distortion and going to acoustic at different parts and songs. And
Yeah,
they like those dynamics a lot. I
yeah,
enjoy that too. I like when songs are um, kind of broken up into sub songs, and they have these,
hmm,
like, you know, these bridges or however they're labeled. I think it's a bridge, I guess.
yeah,
um, but yeah, really, yeah, just, you know, another great song.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, man.
Next song,
Yeah, man. Let's go to
Rocket.
the next song. Rocket, quintessential Pumpkins guitar here to
Yep.
start things off. Like this is the one.
another starting riff, and then the drums come in. And like I said, Chamberlain has, like, he has a style, obviously, and he
He
has this
does.
he you know, he utilizes it a lot. And but it doesn't get old. There's something that make it's alive. It's very, like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, the drums are alive in every song. And everybody settles into a groove like pretty quickly and everything, and then you're off and running.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Billy, on those liner notes for that remaster, he once again channels his Pitchfork album reviewer. He said, this song stands as a poem to the past that had left just behind us. We are going places fast, and we can't get there fast enough. Don't forget to bring your fresh nails for the crosses hidden up on the dark side of the moon.
It's awesome.
That's massive.
Yeah. Dark Side of the Moon, dude.
Yeah, man. Harling Mays. See y'all on the dark side of the moon.
I this album is a lot of, it says a lot too, but a lot of fun to play when the weather is nice. You can drop the windows down and you're driving right when you finish work, you know, go on to something. Honestly, when you finish something and you get to be like released in a way. And um it's just, dude, it's a great rock album. Like, if
Yeah.
you like rocking out and get into some jams and some, you know, someone yelling at you singing and playing, then this is gonna do that for you every time.
Oh, yeah.
Great
Absolutely.
guitar riffs, like
Yeah.
good
What a
solos,
riff.
tasteful. Yeah, dude, like, can't, not much more to say, you know?
Yeah, dude. So the sixth song, God, that was a hell of a voice crack right there. Drew, cut that out. I swear I'm turning 30 soon. Disarm. This is a favorite of yours, isn't it? If I remember correctly, you're
Oh
you're
yeah.
you're, you're a big fan of Disarm, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love their rock and their heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Same as I do with like Pearl Jam. But you know, when Eddie Vedder drops it down and he sings softly, it's some of my favorites. And then same thing with Billy. Like, once he goes to like bringing in the violins, and he does this a lot with, you know, his newer albums, and I'm not well versed in them at all, but
Right.
it's very orchestral, and this has um a lot of violin and bells and different like
Yeah.
sounds, and it's like it's really well put together. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not something that you're gonna get from Nirvana. It's not
And this
something
is the
you're gonna
kind of
get
Billy
like,
Corgan vocals that people think about when they think about Billy Corgan vocals, especially the
yeah.
chorus. I used to be a little boy so old in my shoes, and what I choose is my choice. What's a boy supposed to do? And then the iconic line, the killer in me is the killer in you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, they don't listen to, you know, big orchestra or big band stuff, but like
Right.
when you do, um, you're moved by it a lot of times. I mean, I was a part of the band back then, and you have these like there's a ton of parts going on at once, and they all sync up in a really nice way.
Yeah.
And this song is exactly that. It's like it's a ton of really, it's just unique. It's so unique to the time that it came out. Like you're just not getting this with other bands, and it's really well
Right.
done. It's really tasteful, like his
Yeah.
vocals, everything, great builds. Like it just has this like I don't know, sincerity behind it, or it's like a very it's a nice moment.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
disarming is um it's an interesting I don't know, concept and word, and like it's a great title. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. And there's kind of a similar theme going on with the next song, Soma. Billy said about this song, he said, Soma is based on the idea that a love relation is almost the same as opium. It slowly puts you to sleep. It soothes you and gives you the illusion of sureness and security. Very deceiving. And that's certainly backed up with the opening lyrics. Nothing left to say, and all I've left to do is run away from you. And she led me on down with secrets I can't keep.
Yeah, and this is like the sad Smashing Pumpkins sound that
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people also like, right? Like
Yeah.
they have something for everybody. It does come out big at a time during the song, I believe, if I remember. But like it's it's I don't know, man. There's like if you like sad boy music, like Billy's voice, it's gonna give you that. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's like The Cure. It's like the like all the sad
Dude,
stuff that
if AOL Instant Messenger had been around in earnest in 1993, there would have been a whole lot of sad boys quoting this song. I'm
yeah.
all by myself as I've always felt, and I'll betray my tears to anyone caught in our ruse of fools. That would have been a hell of an away message when your crush doesn't like you back.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's like I said, this band has a ton of sounds that they do really well, and
Yeah.
it's like a sub genre.
Versatility, man.
Yeah, versatility, right?
Yeah.
It's like Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. And as we move forward to the eighth song, Geek USA, this is the Jimmy Chamberlain show right
It
here
is.
right
It's
from the
crazy.
jump.
Yeah, this is just high powered,
So
just
distinct.
not nonstop, kind of like just ramrodding, the song, and it's like, hey, keep up if you can, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's so
man.
intense, and these are the fun jams that like would be so intense to see in concert. I've never seen them. My cousin has a few people, and every time people go, they're like, "Yeah, I was really impressed." I mean, it was. I don't know what their set list is like. Like you said, I would need them to. It's like the Inception. Like I need you to deliver. Like,
Yeah.
can you promise me you're gonna play the old stuff?
Yeah,
It's like,
please.
um, but
Yeah.
these are the heavy jams that
Oh yeah. Dude, and the lyrics once again, alone and unhappy, I never liked me anyway. I mean, words can't define what I feel inside. Who needs them? Caught with this virus of my mind, I give in to my disease of my needs.
yeah.
Perfectly
these
portraying the headspace.
Yeah, these longer songs are. I mean, they're workouts, man. They're like,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
it's an endurance thing. Like all these songs, like 5 minutes. I mean, especially if you're playing, but even like
Yeah.
listening, it's just like, you're not in your head for 6 minutes, and
Yeah.
it's intense.
Yeah. It's so intense. I think
right.
for me, this is my favorite Smashing Pumpkins song of
Yeah.
all time, and one of my favorite songs from the '90s, being the ninth track of Siamese Dream, which is Mayonnaise, and the intro is just absolutely perfect. That kind of meandering licks going on, and then things kick in. Obviously, you smash your foot down on the pedal and kick everything in. The drums come in, and I absolutely love and adore this song. It's so special, and I think it's better than most songs. I think at eliciting emotion out of somebody, no matter what you're going through. This one's instantly relatable, and the music complements the lyrics so
Yeah.
unbelievably well.
Yeah, and if with the genre that we talk about, I mean, nostalgia comes up a lot,
Yeah.
and kind of Smashing Pumpkins have this. It's like the sound can be described as nostalgic.
Between like
Today
this
is a good
this and
example.
1979, you know?
1979, Mayonnaise, like,
Yeah.
and yeah, you listen to this and like it pulls out emotions because for whatever reason it takes you back 10 years to whatever thinking about. I remember my dog Pogo passed away, and I was in
Yeah.
the first apartment in Birmingham. I remember sending this song back and forth and posting about it because like it gets you in your feels.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
I
You just
remember
can't avoid it.
you posted this once and you had some really great writing. You said something to the effect, talking about this song and, you know, bad things are going to happen and bad things happen all the time. And, you have a choice, obviously. And I think sometimes the important choice is to kind of sit with those bad things and internalize them and understand them a little bit and learn from them and feel that. And I think this song is such a great compliment. Also, too, really beautiful singing from Billy Corgan. I think he's almost at his best here in terms of just the nuance to his voice here, particularly in the verses.
Yeah.
Man, I,
Yeah,
I
this song is a
absolutely, I absolutely
masterclass.
love this song. I love this song so much.
I do
Fool,
too.
fool enough to almost be it, cool enough to not quite be it, doomed. And then I think the apex of the lyrics are, "Mother, weep the years I'm missing. All our time can't be given back. Shut my mouth and strike the demons that cursed you and your reasons. Out of hand and out of season, out of love and out of feeling." And I love like that call and response and try to understand that when I can, I will. When I can, I will. Um, it's
Yeah, and the lyrics
just,
has a really nice melody to it and
yeah,
like delivery. And then the solo is like kind of like
it's perfect.
power chord and kind of like stepping up the ladder. And it's just like really tasteful, like insertion of guitar into this, ballad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is a very complete song. Easily one of my favorite Pumpkin songs, if not the favorite as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I love where the 10th song here after Mayonnaise, Space Boy comes in, and this is just such a relaxing song to listen to. Like this has been on some of my like bedtime playlists over the years. And it's just so soft and delicate.
Yeah, again, a lot of the strings are involved, the acoustic guitar and kind of stripped down, and like I said, this is some of Corgan's best sounding stuff. I love the jams. I love the heaviness of it,
Yeah.
like half the album.
Yeah.
Um, but this is like the fifth song where they kind of break it down. I mean, this album is all over the place,
Yeah.
but really well done. Like it's very coherent though.
Yeah.
At the same time,
There's
um,
such a forlorn longing in this song. You get to the end and it just kind of repeats, "I want to go home. I want to go home."
yeah,
Because when a lover aches, that's when a lover breaks. I want to go home.
yeah,
We won't
yeah,
belong.
yeah. And each song has like, yeah, each song has the right amount of development, right? It doesn't stay down for too long. It
Right.
comes in and like you said, just kind of repeating that sentiment. I want to go home, and yeah, it's
It's a good one.
Space Boy,
Yeah, man.
Space Boy. Oh
I am the
man,
space boy.
and that's a great, Space Boy like Rocket. They have this like
Silver fuck.
so, yeah, silver fuck, but they
Geek
have this like
USA.
Luna, like it has a space theme to it
Yeah.
that is
I think they explore that even more on the next album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
yeah.
It's really interesting, kind of some of these themes here.
Yeah, the space and just kind of sounding like you can tell he's, intrigued by the outer space and what is out
Occupied
there.
by things that are not of this earth.
Yeah, and things that you can't really understand. Like
Yeah.
you can't bottle up your thoughts on the,
And
the ever expanding
well, I mean,
universe.
too, like a lot of these things, like when you struggle with like mental health and depression and all that stuff, like no amount of time spent thinking is going to solve that. And there's things that are just unknown, and you don't know why things happen, and you don't know what the best way to deal with them is sometimes, and
Yeah.
you just have to make that decision, as Billy said, and he did that.
All right, moving ahead.
The final
Three
the final
songs
trio,
left.
3 to go, man. We're going song for song for Siamese Dream. Let's take it home here. Let's go to the 11th song, which is Silver Fuck. Once again, big standout from Jimmy Chamberlain here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this song just Dude, it's intense. It's crazy. I think this is the longest song. It's like 8.5 minutes long. I'm just kind of
Oh yeah.
like I said, just blitzing music. Kind of gets tribal. It gets like, kind of break down, just like play the toms and um, just a lot of yelling, right?
A
it's,
lot of
it's
yelling.
a lot of yelling, dude. It's I don't know. It's great. It's really well done, right? Every time I drive in the car and listen to it, I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He said that this he spoke about Silverfuck. Billy did. He said it was an endless jam that we beat into submission, using the club crowds as test dummies for what needs to be an ever infinite magnum opus. We are inspired by a date we play in Minneapolis by a UK band called Three Hypnotics, who play a 30-minute encore that goes on for so long that the club cuts the power. Yet the band refuses to stop. A fist fight breaks out. We stand in awe of their magical power. So just kind of really letting this one rip and just like, hey, there's no stopping with this one.
Yeah, yeah, but it is a intense jam. I mean, they definitely they come out of it for like a couple minutes where there's like
Yeah.
it's like barely playing. It's like
Yeah.
touching the guitar once every like 8 seconds.
Yep.
Um,
You think
and yeah,
about it, it's kind of hilarious that they go from Silverfuck, which is the longest song on the record, right into Sweet Sweet, which is the shortest song on the record, checking in at just a mere 1 minute and 38 seconds.
yeah, and this has a much different kind of guitar sound, and it's very bright and it's
I
like a
overlooked this one until we decided to do
yeah,
the podcast episode this week on this one. Like I don't know that I ever like consciously
spent
listened to
time.
this
Yeah,
one. Yeah. Kind of
I
almost
mean,
sounds like a nursery rhyme,
yeah,
like
and
a
it's like a
schoolyard
minute and a
like
half.
children's rhyme.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it's just a regular guitar, just with like a capo or something, but like it's
Yeah.
it's really high to start and um different register and
Yeah.
um I
It's
mean it's
the
quick, so I can understand why you miss it. Like some of those like really short minute and a half songs, like they're not gonna blow up and be the most popular thing.
certainly the least pumpkin-y song on this record.
Yeah. But at the same time, very pumpkins.
Yeah, like the fact that it's here is very, very pumpkinsy. I'm
That
into
takes
it.
us to our final song, which um this like Luna's an awesome song.
Yeah.
And uh the beginning, like just like the guitar work and just like the I don't even know, the kind of the I guess reverb and the echo that they have to it immediately puts you like you just get into a mind box. It's like, all right, I'm gonna do some thinking here. And
Big time.
yeah, like this is where it's like, all right, I need to feel sad. So like I'm gonna put my playlist on, start with Luna. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect song to close on.
song you play at midnight.
Oh yeah. Yep. Song you play driving home after a long night or something, or you drop your
Yep.
girlfriend off at college or something.
Yep. Just break up with your girlfriend as you drop her off, or drop her off and then know you have to break up with her on the way home.
It's like Adam Duritz, it's going to be over soon.
That's exactly right.
Check
It's
in,
gonna be over.
rent a room on Sullivan Street.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what this feels like. Um, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Sure is.
And that wraps up kind of a lot of the thoughts we have on this album. I mean, when it
Yeah.
comes down to it, it's very complete. Sonic depth. That was the best way to describe it that I saw.
Iconic.
Iconic. I mean, but it has a lot of everything that you want from the band. So
Crazy thing, man. They set out to do what they set out to do, and they accomplished exactly that. I mean, this was an unbelievably successful record. When it was released, it peaked at number 10 on the Billboard 200, and it sold over 4 million copies in the United States and many more, tens of thousands across the world, and certainly put them on the map in terms of national consciousness for people that listen to music. And this was the first big instance of them really, I think, entrenching themselves and interweaving their music in the greater cultural ethos of the 90s and in the musical ethos of the 90s. And this was the record. Once this record came out, you couldn't tell the story of 90s alternative music without this band, and they continued to do that for the rest of the decade, and they'll always be that one of the main load bearing walls for 90s music. And I'm grateful for that, because it's an unbelievable project.
Yeah. And definitely follows the kind of script with the other bands. Like the first album is like really good. They get their break and then they put out like, this and Melancholy back, within a couple years
Yeah.
of each other is like, man, it's some hits, just some
Oh yeah.
incredible 2-3 year run or whatever.
Big
And
time.
yeah, you see that with the other a lot of the bands and stuff. They
Yeah.
hit their stride and the peak of the powers are great.
Yeah.
They're still making music though, which is the crazy part. I mean, they're still making music, and like I said, it's a different sound. I mean, they're older. Everybody you change when you get older and stuff, and
Right.
but Billy's still Billy,
Yeah.
still writing. He's still got stuff to say and
That
stuff
he
to do.
is. I hope he keeps saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's definitely, that was a treat. Definitely, kind of an easy. I mean, it's a longer album, but like it's not that hard to put on and just kind of rip through and have
No, and
fun.
I think any music fan could put this thing on and get something from it. It's got a low barrier for entry, and I think it's a really interesting listen.
Yeah, awesome.
Siamese Dream.
Siamese Dream. Any final thoughts? Or I'm
No,
pretty good if you are.
yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
That's right.
It's just about it. So we would like to thank our producer, Drew McFadden, for his continued work on this podcast, 263 weeks in a row. Without Drew, there is no Grunge Bible podcast, so we thank you for that immensely. And once again, we got to have him on soon.
We do, man. He needs to get back to us, Drew. If you're listening, which better be, you gotta give us a call. We'll get you on the pod.
Yeah, man. We'll book you on the pod.
So, last thing, songs of the week. Is there a song that you would like to shout out?
As a matter of fact, Ethan, there is, and I texted you about this a few days ago. But my song of the week is going to be by an artist called Michael Dana, who did the soundtrack for the Moneyball movie, and I'm gonna pick the instrumental score called "It's a Process" from the Moneyball movie. One of the most cinematic parts of the movie. I just watched it a couple of. I'd say probably like 2 weeks ago, myself and our good buddy Cullen, Eddie Verga, through my second divorce, like we both got home at like 7 o'clock one night, and Cullen was like, "Hey, like," he's like, "I need to watch Moneyball before the baseball season starts." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I have to too." And he's like, "Do you want to start at the same time and watch it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Texted me,
Yeah,
man.
dude. No, we should. I think you were on. It was one of those days you were on the road for Jav.
Yeah.
So we were. So you wouldn't have been available. But ever since then, dude. And then I found like there was like an hour and a half compilation on YouTube of like Moneyball cinematic music, and yeah, it's been sticking in my ear. So it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. That's gonna be my song of the week.
That's amazing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's really. I was listening a little bit today earlier. I clicked on it and I was like, oh, I would have had this when I was doing work in college.
Yeah, dude, just working late at night. Working on something big.
My song. I believe our friend Sam Culp sent it over, passed it over, but
GB Pod alum.
Oh yeah, and it's a huge influence for this band, Smashing Pumpkins. But it is My Bloody Valentine. Their song Slow off of their 1988 EP, You Made Me Realize. And, if you were to tell me that Smashing Pumpkins weren't influenced by My Bloody Valentine, you'd be a liar, because this is all in the same vein. And this song is great. It's really heavy, but slow, super slow and heavy.
Totally.
And it's pretty fun. It's good. It's got that psychedelic. Psychedelic.
My Bloody Valentine are the fucking best. Like their record Loveless is one of the best ever, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of them, so I know you'd appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
Great album.
Yeah, a lot of good music being talked about this week. So Ethan, I appreciate having the chance to do that, as we do every week here on the Grunge Bible Podcast. So thanks for listening. Hope you all have a great week, and we're looking forward to chatting with you next week on episode number 264.
Rock and roll, everybody. Thank you again. Talk to you next week.
Stay heavy, everybody. Hanser.